Okay, puppy, ready to go potty? Really good. So if you're also over on Instagram with me, then you've probably seen me drink this a lot, but I wanted to share it with my Sammie fam. Don't really drink protein powders anymore. Figure out what does well with like my tummy and my digestive tract and stuff like that. So anyways, once in a while on a blue moon if I really need one. But what I have been doing is I get these yogurt drinks at Costco. They have 20 grams of protein on their own, 0 added sugar. Very important. I always drink a little bit out of there so that the powders have space so I can shake it up. Otherwise it gets super clumpy and it's not fun. Maybe like to that amount. I'll always put some collagen powder in there. So I do a scoop. I just use one of my little soup spoons. So this is about 10 grams of collagen. And oh gosh, I'm making a mess. Okay, well, I put that in there. I'm gonna put creatine in it. I'm gonna move fast because if you let it sit for a while, it'll get clumpy. So let me do this first, and I'll talk to you in a second. Because y'all, in this season, I learned I cannot multitask very well. Or I don't know. Anyways, just better for me not to multitask. Give me a second. And then I always shake it like this to start. Because I feel like when you shake it this way, the powders kind of like mix better. When I shake it just like this in the beginning, I feel like the powders get stuck at the lid. So nice. Shake it like this. And that, my friends, makes this a 30 gram of protein yogurt drink. And I put creatine in it on days that I'm not working out. So today I'm gonna just probably walk, do like a walk after work or something. So I'm not lifting any weights because usually, I'll show you guys, love the Podium products. I get them usually at Vitamin Shop, but they recently had a sale on their website. So anyways, I drink their BCAAs because they're kind of like salty, almost like an Element type vibe, but that's the BCAAs that I've been using now for a while. But on days where I'm actually like lifting, I'll use their pre-workout. I think 165 milligrams of caffeine, and then it also has creatine already mixed in there. So that's why like on a day where I'm working out, I just take this. But if I'm not working out like today, then I'll put just regular creatine monohydrate into my yogurt drink. And I've been using creatine now for almost a year probably. Before, I was always scared to use creatine because I was like, oh, I don't want to, I thought it was mainly for guys. I didn't want to get like bloated, have this water retention stuff. You hear all about that. I'm not a professional. This is just me being like a fitness enthusiast. What I understand is that when you take creatine, unless you're like a bodybuilder or doing something professionally, you don't have to do this thing called preloading, which is like you take a lot of creatine in the beginning to like preload your muscles. I don't know. As a regular gym enthusiast, you don't have to do that. I didn't ever experience like that water retention that people talk about. What I have noticed for myself is that I feel like my muscles are more like hard, more defined ever since taking creatine. And I mean, like the way that I work out has been the same for the past maybe 3 or so years, like similar, like basically prioritizing compound lifts and then having like accessory work. But so I don't feel like there was a huge drastic difference in how I was training. The main difference was this, and then obviously I'm trying to dial in my nutrition here and there. So anyways, okay, that's my drink. It's a rare occurrence for my teams to be doing that. It used to be like an everyday thing at my old job. This new job, it's not, so it's like not a big deal when, people are already pinging before the 9 to 5 block, honey, but that's okay. I'll get to it. I did not pick this cup on purpose, but for anyone who needs to hear it, it's just a bad day, not a bad life. I know my pups are very well loved, so if you've been around when Juju was with me in the flesh, then this should not be a surprise to you. But Brutus now has some kombucha. It says a kombucha inspired topper for dogs. I found this at Hollywood Feed. This one's the beef version. He also has tried the chicken. I am not sure if he just likes variety, but he's been really liking this beef one. So I was looking back at some old vlogs, A year ago, I was talking about putting boundaries up for work. It'll be a year at my current job in June, so in like 3 months. So that's why I wanted to get on here today. Okay. Here you go, hon. Enjoy, my love. The reason I wanted to vlog today, and maybe this is just a symptom of having been someone who has done vlogs or videos for a long time, but every now and then I'll start to have conversations with myself. Also, I was kind of like this when I was younger, so that's probably why I got into videos in the first place. So I figured I'll just go ahead and start talking to you guys again about this stuff rather than just talking to myself, because, you know, yeah. So as you guys know, I got laid off from like my dream job in May of last year. Actually, this time last year, I was already interviewing for the current job that I have. The reason for that is because I saw the direction that the company was going into. There was some leadership changes. In January of last year, there was just some messaging that I was that made me just very uncomfortable about the stability of my role and my department and stuff like that. This current job, I'd actually talked to them 6 months prior to like me actually interviewing for this current role that I'm in. Long story, I think I talked about it in the video that I had posted, so I'll link it if I did. Like I said, it'll be a year in June, going at 100 miles per hour every single day, kind of chaos, just like that constant fight or flight, stressful environment, because that's what I had been working in for several years. Going from that to like not that was a huge, huge, huge learning curve. And I know it sounds to some people like, wouldn't that be a good thing? And it is a really good thing for this season of my life. I've talked about this so much in all of like a lot of my videos, that the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is to be able to like provide for my future family. And not only now in this season, it's not just for my future family, it's for like little Steffi too. You know, 12-year-old version of me that didn't get that love, protection, security, etc., etc. Like, I'm also doing it for her because I think healing that wound is going to hopefully make me a good mother. Right now, I'm a bonus, learning a lot about just myself and like obviously that season. And this has been a really wonderful season, but it also has been super hard. Anyways, but I say that because going from just like, okay, I'm going to go in today, I don't know what's on fire, I'm just going to tackle whatever is on fire the most. And it always felt like there was like everything was priority. There's so much I can talk about there. But going from that to not that, it was a really hard transition for me. Relearn how to work productively without there being like a fire underneath me, and that being what's motivating me to get shit done, you know? Huge learning curve. And I think I'm starting to get there now. Like, I think one of the things that I got frustrated with myself about, you know, when I say it, I'm slowing down in my career, kind of taking the gas off the pedal. Like, why is that why can't it just be easy for me? And I know that's because like most of my life since the age of like 12, even prior to that, was me operating in like survival mode. Like me having to take care of myself, protect myself, provide for myself, and then transferring to when I went into the Big Four and all the jobs that kind of, you know, I kind of chose afterwards, with some periods of like lulls here and there. Like, that is what I'm used to, is that like intensity, the stress, the pressure, like that is what motivated me. And so learning to not use that as the only thing to motivate me to get shit done. So some of the things I've been learning to do, and like, because we still obviously have deadlines, but it's not as like crazy intense as it was in my past job. Plus me like having to really recover from burnout, because that is what I was dealing with for like years and years and years. I was just burned out, and I was kind of frustrated with myself because I kept telling myself like, isn't this what you wanted? You wanted to take a step back. Why aren't you more happy? And even though I am grateful for where I'm at and for the opportunity that I have and just kind of like my life set up, there was just a constant like feeling of discomfort. And I think the discomfort was because I'm not used to this pace of work, boundaries, possibly professionalism. You know, it's been a while. It's definitely been a journey, but we're getting there. And I wanted to share that because over the past maybe month and a half, I have just noticed like a clarity that I had not been feeling for a while. I think that when you're recovering from burnout or anything, it takes time. Just like, my husband had emergency surgery, it took time for his body to heal, and his body is still healing. Just like that, like the wounds that you suffer from childhood, work, life in general, 2020, honey, those things take time to heal. And it's not going to be an overnight thing, and it's okay if it's not an overnight thing. So I recently felt like this mental clarity that I haven't felt in a while, especially after I got into this new job, because I wasn't like in this constant fight or flight mode. Like my head felt fuzzy. I felt like there was like cotton in my head. Just my vision didn't feel clear. I felt like there was just like cloudiness. It was very weird. I don't know what made it go away. I don't know if it's just consistency in the things that I've been doing, or like slowly relearning and rewiring my brain physically maybe is helping, but this is what I've noticed. So before, I used to actually drink an energy drink. I wouldn't drink a lot of like multiple energy drinks in a day, but I would have like an energy drink before I worked out. And I don't know if it was something in the energy drinks. Also, I was drinking a lot of caffeine before because of just the pace of work. I think that there was slightly more caffeine than my pre-workout that I showed you guys. I think usually those are like 200 milligrams of caffeine. I don't know. But anyways, I've stopped drinking those, taking creatine regularly, which, like I kind of mentioned. So I don't know if that's helping. I have seen on the social medias that apparently creatine is helpful for like your brain. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably need to do more research, but I've seen it. So there's that. I've been on a really good like workout routine, and not just because I want to look good, but because like it helps with my, with my stress, mental clarity, just overall. So I think it's just a compounding of habits that maybe have been helping. So I just wanted to share that. Eating a little bit better, trying to prioritize protein, trying to cook more at home, which I actually have noticed I really enjoy cooking. Cooking, especially, like, I don't know what it is, like it's just very relaxing at the end of the day. So anyways, I've really been enjoying that. Back to the work stuff. So I'm still figuring out my system, but this is such a cute little like notepad planner. I got this from Sumner Lane shop, focusing on the top 3 things I need to get done in a day. And sometimes maybe it's like priorities, whatever the case may be, and really just focusing on those things. Because before, I think I would get overwhelmed with like all the numerous things that I needed to get done that, it kind of just froze. So now I'm just focusing on top 3 things. I have like a running list of stuff. I use the Microsoft Teams planner. I have a project dashboard thing for my team so that we kind of how we're tracking like our internal projects and whatnot. And then I also use the planner to like add things that I need to get done. So that's kind of like my running to-do list, and then I'll schedule it depending on my availability and stuff like that. And then using my little notepad just because it's cute. And then also on the personal side, I have been using an app called Structured, and I've really been liking that as well. So I'm not trying to like duplicate efforts in all the different things. That's why I think I haven't figured out my full system just yet. But one thing I do like about the Structured app is that you can just add all these different to-dos so that you don't forget about it. I've been chatting for a while, so I'm gonna get to it and I'll check in with y'all later on. Someone wants to go outdoors, so I will let him. Please don't sit in the water though, baby, okay? I wanted to show you guys my hyperfixation lunch. I don't even know what that means. I guess that means you want to eat it over and over again. At least that's what I think it means. I haven't looked it up. So anyways, a couple weeks ago, I was going to Potbelly like a few times during the week because I was just having a craving for their turkey sandwiches. And so I decided to get stuff to make it at home. But this is half of a white bolillo, I don't know if I'm actually saying it right. Just a white roll from H-E-B, but it's their bolillo roll. I tried their submarine roll and it's not as good. So anyways, it's that. And then I have their chicken breast. I didn't get turkey, but I bought turkey from Costco recently, so that's what I'm going to be using going forward. But sometimes during lunch, I just want like a simple, yummy sandwich. So next up, I have some iceberg lettuce. Love me some onions, y'all. So I'm going to be putting plenty on there. And I know I talked about trying to avoid things that make my tummy hurt, but you know what? Potbelly sandwich, I cannot eat one without hot peppers. So I had found a mild a mild pepper dupe. I think I got it from Sprouts a while ago. Anyways, I'm out of it, so I had to get the regular Potbelly hot peppers, but that's okay, so I'm gonna go get that. Not actually count my macros, but I am kind of watching how many calories I'm intaking, and I'm also trying to make sure I'm hitting my protein goal, which is like at least 120 grams of protein a day. If I can get more than that, then great, but if I can at least get 120, then it's been a good day. So 28 grams is a serving, and it's 37 calories, which I don't, like this I don't care about, like veggies I don't care about too much, but because it's in oil. And for my drink, oh, let me put this stuff away. I was going to put tomatoes on it, but they're kind of like soft. So I'm just going to use these probably in like, maybe I'll make ganneling or something. So, oh my God. This is why I can't talk and do stuff at the same time. You know what? No. These are my favorite. I have loved these for several years now, and I'm so glad that they have them at Costco. So I get that as a little pick-me-up. And then I also have my handy dandy vitamin thing, which keeps me on track. So I actually have been taking my vitamins like every day. So yay. I have prenatal, fish oil. I think this one's the vitamin C, D, and D3. And then this is like a magnesium supplement. And apple teas.